Welcome to the Tony Gaskins Show, best-selling author, celebrity life coach, and international speaker. The purpose of this show is to bring you motivation, inspiration, and education in the areas of life, love, and business. Thank you for joining me. Now let's get started. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Talks with Tony. Talking about dating a frugal man. Got a question that came in and said, thank you for what you do. Because of your books and videos, I have gotten out of a toxic relationship and recently started dating again. I met him back in 2014, but I was in a relationship with my son's father. He got in a relationship soon after our meeting. I left my son's father in 2016 and was single for a while. Focused on myself and raising my son. We got back in contact in June of 2017, and he was also single. We started talking more often, but hardly got to go out because I work crazy hours, and other than daycare, I have no one to leave my son with since I'm here alone from Jamaica. We did get to go out when he wanted to show me a business opportunity, but it was at a fast food restaurant. He later called it a date. We've been to the movies a couple times, but I noticed that he'd complain about the price of the tickets. Who does that? I left the state in September and was staying with my family for a month after my lease was up, but we still kept in contact. When I came back, I was staying with a friend until I got an apartment. When I got back, he never asked me out. I just got a new apartment and he wants to come over and hinted that he wants to have sex. He did come over one day when a few of my friends were there, and he didn't bring a housewarming gift. We spoke after, and he says I should let him know when my son won't be around so he can come get some. We have great conversations, but my mind is telling me to let him go. A man complaining about the price of stuff when he takes me out is new to me. If you go to someone's place after they just got a new place, I just think you should give something. I don't want him to support me. It's not that. He's 10 years my senior. I expect him to know these things. Am I making a big deal out of nothing? Please respond. Thank you so much for your question. And I'm glad you asked. And this is something that's kind of, it's going on more and more in our society to where it's becoming a thing that people are looking at, and that is, finances and how a person makes money, how much money they make, and how they spend their money. Now, I will tell you, I make okay money, and I complain about the ticket prices. To be honest with you, it's just a conversation piece, because if you've gone to the movies a few times, he obviously doesn't really have a problem with the price. It's just a conversation piece. It's just something I did a tweet rant about it, about AMC movie theaters, because it costed like $100 and something. Like the tickets were like $40, and then the food was like $70. And it was, we just got something to eat. Everybody just got something to eat and something to drink, a couple things of candy. And this outing with my family was like $110 or $120. It was crazy. And so I tweeted about it and got a lot of people write me back. And a lot of people were like, everybody was like, I don't even go to the movies anymore because of the prices. They were like, I go on the free Tuesdays, or I go on the $5 Tuesdays, or I only do the matinees, or I take the big purse with all my snacks from the thing. So this isn't just him. This is a lot of people. And, next time you pay for it. You pay for it and don't complain about it, and just see how it feels. And you may just have a different mindset around money, but it's not a bad thing, because he can balance you out. Because if you just spend and you don't think about the price, or you don't have anything negative to say about the price, if it's a little astronomical, which I would agree with, then that's cool, and it's a lot of women who are like that. But men, our mind thinks differently. So as a woman, you kind of have to get to the place to where you really don't listen to a man's commentary about money.
just kind of let it go in one ear and out the other. Like, okay, here he goes again, complaining about the price, always being cheap, always being frugal. But just kind of let it go in one ear and out the other, because men are going to look at money differently than a woman. I mean, women, for the most part, are shoppers, and it's a love language. Gifts and spending sometimes is a love language for a lot of women. Whereas men, the reason why we look at money a little differently is because in our mind, we want or we expect the burden of, providing financially to fall on us. So we expect that, if you need to sit down from work and you have no income, that we will earn the money to take care of you. Because, if you're having a child or, want to do something else, we want to be able to create that. So a lot of times men will look at money totally different than women look at it. But it doesn't mean that he's just being frugal or that he's cheap. And it doesn't really say anything about his character. More so than anything is, him trying to get some. Like, more so than the money, you really should be looking at the fact that you left town, and was gone for a month, came back, was staying with a friend, just got your new place, and he trying to come get some. When y'all kept in touch, but you aren't exclusive, like you're not in a real relationship, you're just kind of talking. So the fact that he's trying to get some from you without even being your actual man, like your exclusive man, that says more than him talking about money. And to be honest with you, you got you a new place, you're renting an apartment. If you bought a house, that's totally different. Like, that's why it's called housewarming. They don't have apartment warmings because you are renting. So you're not going to really be there. That's not where you're going to stay. So we don't have apartment warmings. We have house warmings. And so that's probably just how his mind was thinking. To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have brought you anything either, because, okay, you moved to a different place. It's not like you had a child. It's not like, we're adults. You move to another place. So if you don't like that place and you break your lease and you want to move to another place, and now I got to bring you another gift. And then if after the lease is up and now you want to go get you a house, now I got to get you another gift. So now I'm having to get you a gift every time you move. And yes, it's thoughtful. Yes, he probably would have, it would have been really cool for him to bring you something, but you can't really knock him for not bringing something. It doesn't necessarily mean he's just frugal. That's another difference in the male and the female mind. We just think. If you Google the differences between men and women, and you'll see this article that shows 10 differences between the male brain and the female brain. We are different creatures. So men don't really think like that. Like women, you all are very, very thoughtful in that area. So if you're going to your girlfriend's new apartment, you're going to get her like some towels or some rags or a little pot set. You're going to think like that. But as a man, you're not really thinking like that. And when you are thinking like that, that is a good sign. It is a good sign. But on the other side of it, this guy just may not have a lot of money to just spend willy-nilly. And being that you moved and you were somewhere else, he probably is also entertaining a couple of women because y'all aren't talking every day. So you also have to think about it in the dating field. A lot of people, especially men, date a few people at a time. So if y'all aren't exclusive, he could be dating you and 2 other women. Well, they could have just got a new apartment too. So now that's 3 gifts you got to get. So that's one thing that we don't think about sometimes when we think about dating, because we just assume like, okay, I'm the only person he's taking to the movies. But if he's doing 2 movie dates a week, or if he's doing 3 movie dates a week, or he's doing movies with you and he's doing dinner with her, he's dating around because he's still technically a single man. Y'all aren't exclusive, and you're welcome to date other men as well because you're not having sex. Now, when sex comes into play, that's when it's an exclusive relationship. And I don't condone sex before marriage. It's dangerous. It's just not healthy. It's a lot of soul ties, but you grown, so you're gonna do what you want to do anyways. But if sex comes into play, you are in an exclusive relationship at that point. I mean, it might not be exclusive from his side, but you are, you're doing relationship stuff. You're giving a boyfriend the benefits of a husband. So that's when it gets a little more serious. And that's when you kind of maybe will start to expect more. But I would say, look at his character. What does his character say about him? Does he get high? Does he get drunk? Does he curse like a sailor? Is he still getting tattoos? Is he frugal with your dates, but then splurging at the casino or on jewelry or cars? What does his character say? What do you feel about him asking you for sex when y'all aren't even exclusive? Like, look at his character. Don't worry about him not buying a apartment warming gift, or him not, being him not having anything to say about the crazy prices at the movie theaters. Don't worry about that, because that's just money. And it's good if he's even, mindful of money, because it's better to be mindful of money than to not be. So that's not the end all be all. Look at his character and let his character be his currency. So you letting his money be his currency. Let his character be his currency. And lastly, in this situation, and this for, dating period, when you're dating somebody, if there's a 10-year age gap, you normally are safest 5 years or less. When you go over 5 years, things gonna get a little weird. When you get to 10 years, things really getting weird. Because imagine, when he's 65, you still can have sex, at 55 for a woman. When he's even 55, that might be an age of, entertaining Viagra. And at 45, you're still in your sexual prime as a woman. And so having that big of an age gap, 55, when he's 55, 65, when he's 75, 65 is really young still for a woman. Like, you still want to travel the world, but he's 75 years old. He probably want to kick back, and he's already frugal. So 75, that frugalness going to be through the roof. Y'all aren't going to Italy. So you got to think about other things too, around this. So your age difference and then his character. So think on that. And don't just lock this in. For those of you listening, this is not your situation. What I want you to think about is the person you're dealing with. Look at their character. What does their character say? Look at their character. And then look at what you're really valuing. Is it the gift? Like, is it the thought? Or you just want as many friends as you can to get you gifts, so it saves you some money from having to, buy all the stuff you need for your apartment? Because if that's not the case, then it really should not matter. And then at the same time, if you're dating somebody, just throw it out there. Speak your mind. Like, we don't communicate enough. We think these things, but we don't say it. But I would say, if it meant something to me and I were you, I would say, you didn't bring a housewarming gift? Oh my goodness. He was like, oh, you wanted something? Yeah. Then, oh, okay, well, I'll get it. Thank you. And I will appreciate it. Speak your mind. It's okay to communicate, because to be honest with you, not everybody will know what you like and what you expect. And this isn't common knowledge. Like, there's no book being passed around that says, look, when you go to the movies, do not complain about the ticket price. That is a turnoff. And if she gets a new apartment, we are doing apartment warmings now, not just house warmings. Now we're also doing apartment warmings. Even though this is the third one she's had since you've known her, she's expecting another gift for this one. So when you go over here to this apartment warming, make sure you take something there. Like, there's no guide for this. There's no manual for this. We don't learn this in school at any level. So what we have to do in relationships, we got to start communicating our expectations. And that could also backfire and cost you, because now this person starts to look, because where you're looking at him like he's frugal, he may look at you like you're money hungry, or you're a gold digger, or you want a man that's just rolling in the dough. So you still need to express that, because he may say, well, you know what? She's actually not a fit for me. If that's how she feels, if that's how her mind works, if that's how she thinks, I don't want to waste her time. So you could be saving yourself some time just by opening up and expressing yourself. Hey, thank you so much for submitting your questions. It's just my opinion. And what I want you to always keep in mind, what I want y'all to keep in mind is I don't prep my answers. So I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking, just from the heart, off the top of my head, in the moment. I don't have a lot of time. Like, I'm not sitting prepping, and I don't have a notepad with bullet points. So sometimes I'm going to say some things that, it may be a little off. I didn't get a whole lot of time to think through it. So charge it, to my head and not my heart, and understanding that I'm coming from, a good place. Just your brother from another mother. Not a guru, don't know it all, but hopefully I can make you think about things from another angle. And I share that because, I said on one of the podcasts, I was talking to a guy who needed some relationship coaching. And I'm like, man, you might, money might be tight on your job or what have you. But man, if you got to get a payday loan, get you a payday loan and pay for you a coaching session. And one of the ladies, wrote on YouTube, she was like, that was terrible advice. I cannot believe you told him to go into debt to save his relationship. I cannot believe you said it. That was terrible advice. You should have told him to go to the spiritual counselor at church. And everybody has an opinion, but the thing about it is, me as a professional life coach, I know that when you become a pro at doing something, it's because you have a passion for it, or you're called to it. But a lot of times with churches, the spiritual counselor, or the coaching there, it could be a volunteer who is not called to it. It's not what they do, and they're doing it for free. And you're not paying them. You don't know if the church is paying them. So if it's free, a lot of times you get what you pay for. So that's not something that I necessarily recommend. I tell people to go to professionals. And when I say the payday loan, it's because I've never had a payday loan. So I don't fully understand how a payday loan works. When my mom used to get them, she would tell me that it would be like a $35 fee. So if her check's going to be $500, she can get a payday loan of $500, and then she had to pay back $535. Me personally, that's not a lot of debt. They're not asking a lot, but that's from Amscott. But then I took and I watched a episode of American Greed, and this company, this payday loan company, like Fast Loans, or Payday 500 Fast Loans, they had all these fees and all of this stuff. So a person who would borrow like $300 would end up paying back like $1,300. And I was like, oh, that's what that lady meant by telling him to get into debt. So she probably has some experience with one of these payday loans that you had to pay this astronomical amount of money for after borrowing a small amount. So I don't have that experience. So me saying that, I say that to say, even though I'm a professional life coach, you still have to take what I say with a grain of salt. Like, it's not the Bible. Talk to the God, read your Bible, listen to your heart, and just realize I'm just a person trying to help. You writing me for, your question, then I'm just sharing my insight. Don't take it like it's the Bible, it's the end all be all. Cause I never want to try to be that person. I've never, and you read my bio on my website, you will not see relationship expert. I don't call myself an expert or anything like that. So I share that just so you have some, understanding of my perspective moving forward. Hey, thank you so much. Remember, send your questions in. If you want another opinion, inbox at TonyGaskins.com. And remember, whatever you decide, take action. We'll talk soon.